We start now. Okay, so welcome to Belfield for the Broadybro Wexford Ladies Football Senior Final. Today is the 13th of November 2021, and in the senior final today we have Shelmaliers and Clonee. We'll start off by calling the Shelmalier team. In goal is Deirdre Fox. The full backline is made up of Aideen Fitzgerald, Cy McCarthy and Michelle Harden. Half backline of Ciara Neville, Shauna Murphy and Sarah Harden-Kenny, with Roisin Murphy and Eleanor Neville the midfield pairing. Half forward line of Fiona Kinsella, Clara Donny and Kelly Carney, who's also team captain. Leona Tector, Deirdre McMahon and Aidish Neville make up the full forward line. Subs for Shelmalier today are Ciara Banville, Mailing Tynan, Eva Manley, Roisin Cloak, Lisa Quill, Anya Lacey, Ciara Donoghue, Enya Byrne, Maeve Quill, Ciara McMahon, Katie Carroll, Hannah Hearn, Aoife O'Keefe, Roisin Cloak and Danielle O'Leary. The team management is made up of Pat Quill, who's manager, Kenny Hearn, Declan Flynn, Stanley O'Leary, Eddie Keogh, Chris McLean and Wayne Duggan, with backroom of Mary Cullen, Tom Tynan, Mag Dardy and Jenny Murphy. Physio for today is Mary Alice Murphy. Moving on then to the Clonee team. So in goal for Clonee is Laura Keogh, Bridgeen Doyle, Niamh O'Rourke and Katie Butler. Half back line of Amy Tobin Cosgrave, Laura Fortune and Danielle Hayden. Midfield partnership of Marguerite Doyle and Elaine McCabe. Half forward line of Anne Byrne, who's the team captain, Emma Tompkins, and wearing number 12 is Karen Tompkins. Full forward line of the ever-present Liz Elford, Katrina Murray and Sarah Doyle. The manager for Clonee are Larry Doyle, John Kavanagh, Pat Butler, Selena Hayden, Trish Murphy, Claire O'Rourke and Lisa Kavanagh. And I'm joined by two veterans of the Shelmalier Club in Catherine Doyle and Mag Doherty. Catherine, how do you see this one's going?
Well, I think as usual, Barry, it'll probably be a very close game. I'm expecting a good match, a young Clonee team and a relatively young, a little bit more experience.
I do too, and with a blend of experience and youth, I expect it to be very close, but I think we should tip it on experience alone.
And straight away Ian Plunkett throws in the ball and Shauna Murphy is going through on attack and Shauna kicks, and that just goes out to the right and wide, so a little disappointing for Shauna. She would have liked to be on target on the first kick. Clonee Kuiper then, Laura Keogh just looks for a space, but that's going to fall into the hands of Kelly Carney. Kelly's got plenty of space in front of her, but no, it comes back out to Bridgeen Doyle. That's back in now where Clonee tried to work it out. Cy McCarthy here just lets the ball bounce overhead and runs on then to collect it. And she's got Roisin Murphy in the centre should she need her. So Cy gives it into Roisin. And Roisin plays the 1-2 back to Sive. Sive, of course, part of the county team that got so close to the All-Ireland final and were unluckily beaten that day. Clonee now go forward through Elaine McCabe. Elaine just on the ground, but she gathers the ball again and goes again. It's still Elaine. She's got Liz Elford now. Liz playing senior football with Clonee now a long time. And it's back with Danielle Hayden. Danielle just stoops, collects it, and she's well marshalled there by Eleanor Neville, but Clonee work it out and back into the centre with Emma Tompkins. Emma going through the centre. And now it's back with Liz Everett. Liz has got Katrina Murray run on and Katrina collects it and kicks. And that's a good score there for Katrina. Catherine?
Yeah, I think Clonee seem to have their number 11 there, Emma Tompkins, kind of dropping back deep and pushing up the field, maybe kind of to pull Shauna Murphy, I'd imagine, now at the defence, Mag.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see that they're playing right a line across when we're making our kick-outs. They're letting us win the kick-out, but they're trying to force us to make mistakes, as Kelly did up the corner there.
So Deirdre Fox with a kick-out, and it goes out to Eilish Neville, and Eilish plays it down the far wing to Kelly Carney, team captain for Shelmalier today, and she'll be hoping to lift that cup come 4 o'clock, and it's Shauna Murphy now. Shauna gives a good ball in for Leona, maybe a bit of a tackle there beforehand, but the Clonee player still has it. Leona has her hands out, but that's a one there by Kate Butler. Kate wins the free. Now with Elaine McCabe. Very bunched up here in the centre as Clonee tried to find into the space with Marguerite Doyle, a long time servant at Clonee as well, now back with Laura Fortune. Back out now with Elaine McCabe. Elaine toe to hand and goes in towards the centre. She's got options out to her right should she need them, but she decides to score herself. Now she gives the ball, and the Shels again there with Michelle Harden just deemed to drag down the player, and that's going to be a free in. And Clonee probably started the brightest.
Yeah, I think so. They seem to kind of have a little bit more width to the field. I think the Shels girls are probably a little bit pulled out of position, Barry, and haven't quite come to terms with what Clonee are doing. And with their experience, I'd expect them to not get sucked into that. I'm kind of a little bit surprised, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're playing a very central way. Like they are playing it centrally to close out the space and to slow down our break, which we have to watch.
That's a dangerous there from Katrina Murray, but it's a square ball. Liz Everett just deemed to be in the square, and it's going to be free out to Deirdre Fox, going to take it, and she takes it quickly with Michelle Harden guilty of the last free, and she's going to be keen to make up for that. It's now with Aideen Fitzgerald. Aideen gives it back towards Michelle, and Michelle is doing well here with Sarah Harden-Kenny. Sarah gives it on to Clara Donnelly. Clara's first touch today, and she hand passed it back out towards Ciara Neville. And Sarah Harden-Kenny gets the ball again, and tugging the jersey there into the centre. Sarah gives it back to Sive McCarthy. Sive seems to be that extra player in the backs. Sive is still going, and she gives it out towards Eleanor Neville. Eleanor does well to hold off the tackle, and it's now back with Clara Donnelly. Clara kicks, and that's a point. That's a score. A good score there. Well worked score.
That's a good score. And actually, Ailish Neville made a great run there a minute ago as well. I think Shels kind of reverted to go back the field, and they just need to put the head up a little minute and look to see what's in front of them, because Clonee have slowed it down, but they need to take the opportunities when they get the opportunity for a quick attack.
Yeah, but that was their game plan in the semi-final too, Kenny. Our lads was to slow down Adamstown's whole game plan, and it worked. And we can't let that ruin our game plan today.
Amy Tobin Crosgrave there, probably a little unlucky to be deemed to be foul, but it goes with the Chevaliers and Shauna Murphy, and the Shels here pushing everybody forward. It's all out football now with Roisin Murphy. Roisin just loses the ball, and Clonee are lucky there to gather it through Kate Butler. Kate gives it in towards the centre, and Clonee have options out on the right, but they come back in towards the centre here. There's a good few Shels players back. That's gathered there by Anne Byrne, the team captain for Clonee. Anne puts her head down and looks inside her, and she's still going, and the referee Ian Plunkett is playing advantage. That advantage is now over with, and it's Elaine McCabe gives a good ball in towards Katrina Murray, and it comes back towards Elaine McCabe. Elaine's got Katrina inside of her, but the ball just goes along, and there was probably unlucky there not to win it free there, but Kelly now does win the free, and Kelly gives it on to Ciara Neville, and good advantage there by the referee to play, not to stop the game. Leona Tector. Leona plays a clever ball towards Clara Donnelly. Clara stoops, picks. She doesn't have too much options in the centre, but decides to go inside towards Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre gives it off towards Roisin Murphy, who's coming at pace through the centre. Roisin back to Deirdre. Deirdre kicks, but that's blocked down, and Clonee are going to clear this now. It's Danielle Hayden. Danielle gives it out towards Kate Butler.
I think the girls just need to settle down, that's all. They're just a little bit jittery still, so just give them time to settle.
It's Bridgine Doyle now. Bridgine, big strong physical presence there in towards Liz Everett. She gives a very clever ball towards Marguerite Doyle to run on to. Played it right in front of Marguerite. Marguerite collected it, and we now have Sarah Doyle, whose big physical presence in there in the full forward line is going to be dangerous, and the Shels are going to need to cater with that. Katrina Murray then. Katrina gives a good ball in towards the centre, and the Shels probably need to be a little bit tighter. It's Karen Tompkins now, but a misplaced ball spilled, and it's Roisin Murphy who comes away with it. Roisin gives it out towards Deirdre McMahon, who's a long way from her full forward berth. Deirdre gives it in and comes off the referee, but if anything, it was more of a disadvantage to Chelmaliers, and Kelly goes back, collects it, and gives it back towards Deirdre. Deirdre's got Clara inside, and she's got another option over her side if she can give it out, and that's Ailish Neville, I think, is it? Ailish kicks it. Was it Ailish?
45.
But it's going to be
Ailish Neville there, I think, Barry. And Shels really, I suppose, at this point have kind of settled in there. They have a lot of numbers back, which is stopping Clonee on the break. And I think, they're probably starting to impose their game a little bit there in the last few minutes on Clonee, rather than standing back and watching them and allowing them to run the ball through their hands. Shauna's back covering back the space there. There was a gaping hole there for the first 5 minutes, and it seems to have settled a little bit.
Kelly decides to go backwards with the 45 towards Roisin Murphy. Roisin gives it on towards Eleanor Neville. Eleanor, though, she's I suppose guided out towards the side. Kelly Carney tries to bring it back into the centre, and Kelly kicks, but that's just got a tail, and that's Deirdre McMahon, but it's going to be a free out. And I do see Aoife Manley on there, Mag. I think she's in there corner forward instead of Eilish, is she?
Yeah, she is indeed. Yeah, it's, she was a very, very big threat and had a really fantastic game in the semi-final against Adamstown, scoring 2-2. Or against St. Anne's, I beg your pardon, and they really, really had their hands full trying to mark her.
It's instead of Fiona Kinst, I think, Mag, she's on for, is it?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Okay, so it's 18 Fitzgerald then. 18 probably maybe a little bit of a hand up there, but the referee says no, nothing to see here, and he moves it on now with Sive McCarthy. Sive still going, but just fumbles it a little bit, and she gives it towards Eleanor Neville. Back with Leona Tector. Leona kicks a good ball across towards Aoife Manley, but that's well intercepted there by the Clonee cornerback or the wing back, Amy Crosgrave, and Amy gives a good ball down towards Karen Tompkins. Karen then has got space in front of her and gives it over the top in towards Sarah Doyle, all down along the left wing now, and it comes back with Danielle Hayden. Danielle tries to go into the centre towards Elaine McCabe, and she does well, and that's on now back towards Sarah. Sarah gives a clever ball in again towards Katrina Murray, and Katrina tries to turn around, but Sarah Harden-Kenny has it for pace. Katrina still tries to go inside, and she hand passes it across. There's two Shelmalier players that's there, but that's gathered there by Emma Tompkins. Emma kicks high, but that's going to be gathered there by Deirdre Fox. And
very good defending that time, Barry, because they forced her to pass and then forced them to kick from 30 yards. We need to keep up that kind of momentum.
And there's a strong sun there. I can see Deirdre putting her hand up to her eyes as well, Mag. It's something we just need to be careful of when we're defending into that.
I think what they need to do is go back to the St. Anne's style, where they kicked a low ball in front of Ava Manley, who then was able to take her player on with ease.
Good ball.
And that's a good ball in there now. Eleanor Neville turns inside. Eleanor gives it in towards Leona Tector. Leona kicks left foot and back of the net. A great goal. A great goal there.
Great goal, Barry. Yeah, and that came actually from Sarah Harden-Kenny. Did great defence here back on Katrina Murray, who we're hearing so much about the last few weeks. But I mean, Sarah just did her simple thing, kept turning her out, didn't allow her the opportunity, forced her to pass, as Mag said, and then the Shels worked it up the field, as they're well capable of doing. So I hope now they'll believe in themselves a little bit more and settle on the game.
Yeah, I think that goal will really put them, on the front foot.
So I think the referee deemed that the goalkeeper came out past the fire, so it's going to be a hot ball, and the Shels will definitely be happy with that. Oh, it's a free in, is it, Mike?
I think he's given a free in because she kicked it. It wasn't 13 metres, I think.
And it's scoreable?
Yeah, very much so. It's only 20 metre free.
Okay, so that's Eilish Neville makes no mistake and puts another pour, so that widens the margin to 4. It's now Shelmaliers 1-2, Clonee point, and we're gone 11 minutes in here to the Bodybro Senior Football Championship. Laura Keogh not going to make any mistake this time. She gathers the ball out. And again, high elbow, but the referee doesn't call it, and it's Anne Byrne who kicks a low ball in. And there's two players there, more probably 50-50, and the referee
50-50, yeah. I think there was kind of the ground conditions probably deceptively on the warm day are a little bit heavy. We've probably forgotten all the rain that's happened, and that's all that was.
Yes. Shels certainly have imposed their game now on Clonee and are certainly on the front foot.
And Clara just loses her foot in there as well, but she touched the ball while she was on the ground, so that's going to be a free into Clonee. And Clonee are definitely playing the one person, Katrina Murray, full forward line, and that's who the ball is with now. But the Shels are getting numbers back. Katrina Murray tries to sign. That's probably a little bit dangerous. Referee's playing advantage, and a great block, but he was given playing
advantage. In fairness, it was probably an intelligent free from Sarah. She knew Katrina had got the better of her that time, unusually. Now Shels had plenty of numbers back, but she probably did the right thing.
And Katrina Murray does the easy thing there and pops that over the bar to bring the score back to Clonee 2 points and Shelmalier 1-2. And I suppose Pat Quill and the Shelmalier management Mag will probably be happy enough so far, will they?
Well, they will be, but they're going to have times in the game, Kenny or Barry, that they're going to say this isn't working, or they were going to be on top. They took them a while. I think what will worry him a little was the fact that they didn't start as well as they would have loved.
And this is dangerous now for Marguerite Doyle. Marguerite gives it in towards Liz Elver. Liz Elver just seems to pull her hamstring right at the wrong time, because she was true on goal and she just had to give it back, and that's unfortunate now. But it's Anne Byrne who are going to try to get something now. It's in with Marguerite Doyle. Marguerite turns inside. She's on the ball. She's on the ground. The referee is saying nothing's going to blow off, but definitely Liz Everett looks in trouble there.
She's in trouble, Barry. Yeah, that's a hamstring pull straight away. She just turned and it's unfortunate for her, because she would be a big threat for Clonee. She's a great player, always has a great turn of pace, and that's really unfortunate for her. That'll see the end of her game, I'd say.
And when we have the chance, we congratulate Leona on her 24th year county final and say it's a wonderful achievement. And
24th county final.
24th county final.
Many wins and many losses, Mag.
18 victories in 24 county finals.
There's not too many people with 18 county medals, I'd say, in their back pocket.
No, not too many.
Catherine is pointing to herself here, so.
I think I have maybe slightly more, but
17.
I have, well, we congratulate.
Well, between me and you then, Catherine, we've 17. And
17. I think I've 21, Barry.
Good woman, Catherine.
That makes sense.
21
maybe
senior
that's
medals?
wrong. I could be incorrect there.
It's a nice achievement, anyhow.
I think it's a throw-up ball here.
A throw-up ball, yeah. I think it was just, the ball was on the ground there, it wasn't coming out. And it's going to be Sarah Doyle against Sid McCarthy, two big, tall girls.
Is Liz still on? Oh, no, she's not.
As Liz Everett sadly makes her way off.
Yeah.
And that's it. Sid bats it down, but it comes to Anne Byrne. And it's now with number 20. So that's Caroline Murphy. And Caroline is playing a long time for Clonee as well.
You know what, Barry? It occurred to me there, we're talking about like Liz Everett and Caroline Murphy and Leona Tector. It's a great advertisement for ladies football in a time when it's harder and harder to get girls involved in sport, and to see players playing, well into their 30s. I think it's fantastic. And I think it should be promoted. We forget about it sometimes, and it's good for younger girls to see that and see it as something that they can keep doing.
So it's Sarah Harden-Kenny coming in, going one way and then the other, and she gives a good ball over the top towards Ciara Neville. Ciara gives it in towards Kelly Carney. Kelly got space in front of her and she's going to use every bit of that. Aoife Manley's calling for it over the far side, but it didn't go over to her, and that's Clara Donnelly. Clara tries to come into her better right foot and maybe a free there, but no, Clara's still going and she goes on towards Kelly Carney. Kelly and Clara have been a formidable partnership for Chemelure for a good few years now, from underage right up, and it's back now with Ciara Neville. Gives it again to Leona, and Leona kicks, and that's just going to fall into the hands of Laura Keogh as Clonee try to turn defence into attack now, but it's come back to Eleanor Neville. Eleanor stoops and collects it. The two number 9s battle it out, and it's back with Shauna Murphy. Shauna gives it over the top towards Clara. Clara looks up at the post, kicks, but that's going to tail out to the right and wide.
I think that my worry is that there was a lovely ball. Had it gone inside, Ailish Neville, I think it was Ava Manley, was free, and certainly would have gotten at least a point, if not a goal, from it. I think that we're tending to play into Clonee's hands here by playing it around. I think we need to give the quick ball in. Like we've been doing it, like the girls have been practicing. I believe that's how they'll be beaten, is giving a quicker ball in and not hold on to it so much in the half forward line.
They definitely, when they're on the attack, Barry, they have Clonee on the rack. You saw it there a minute ago. The inexperience probably of the Clonee defence just showed a little bit. And as Mag said, Ava Manley had made a beautiful run and just a quick look up and transfer the play to the other side, which is what they should be doing when they have them like that. Would have meant a score, because really, after the first kind of 5 minutes of the game, Shels have dominated, is probably too strong a word, but they've had the fair play, or fair amount of the play, and they haven't really converted it. Bar the goal, there's nothing between them. So I'd like to see them take more advantage of that when they have Clonee on the run. They are probably have the superior edge at the moment, and they're just not transferring it into scores, and that's important when it gets into the 60th minute of the game and you're looking for those scores. It's harder to get them, so they need to be really taking them now.
Well, when you look at it, with all our dominance, we've only one wide apiece. Yeah. So we need to be converting.
Yeah, and I suppose the Shels are kind of playing more of a traditional kind of, where Clonee are playing with Katrina Murray kind of in there in the full forward line by herself. Now Liz Everett was a threat there with her, I suppose just pure experience. She's gone off, so I suppose Caroline Murphy is probably going to take up a similar role to Katrina Murray in there, is she?
And there's no better girl to do it, because she'll have the experience and the head, where Caroline will play the ball, not the person. She'll look at where the ball is going. She'll use that experience to read the play. So she has to be marked.
So it's the ball. We're back in play now, and it's Shauna Murphy. Shauna gives it back towards Clara Donnelly. Clara wearing number 11 for Chemelures, and she goes out towards Eleanor Neville. Eleanor just puts the head down and injects that little bit of pace. Or sorry, it's Eilish Neville, and a trip there, and Eilish looks very dangerous there.
Yeah, that was a great run, and she is such a strong player, Barry, and she's been threatening there for years and showing her quality, and now she's probably at an age where she's able to impose herself, and we need to be getting the play to her. The play has been actually very much up this side of the field, where the likes of Eilish and Ava Manley there, are definite threats and need to be getting the ball in their hand.
That just comes off the upright and out, and Eilish scores part of the junior camogie team that won the All-Ireland this year as well, so congratulations to Eilish.
As well, I think, lads, they are playing a very high line on our girls, forcing our girls up to at least a 30-metre line, which is not working for our girls. We need to be closer to goal. It's suiting them that we're playing so high up the field.
Now back with Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre kicks a good ball over the top towards Aoife Manley, I think, but it's Clonee who come out with it, and it's Anne Byrne. Anne just turns and settles the Clonee. Clonee probably looking to just keep the ball now for a little while. They haven't had that much possession. It's Karen Tompkins now. Taryn gives it out, and it's just fumbled there by Sarah Doyle, but she does well to gather back, and it's with Marguerite Doyle. Marguerite coming through the centre, and that's a good ball on for Emma Tompkins to gather, and Emma kicks it, and a good score in fairness for Clonee. They worked it from the whole way from the full back line up and over the bar.
Good score, Barry, and really I suppose again it came from probably a mistake by the Shels. Just Deirdre McMahon kicked the ball into a very crowded area there, and Ava Manley had no hope of winning it. She did the best she could, but they just need to be a little bit cleverer, I think, moving forward, because Clonee are crowding out that defence. Michelle
Harden decides to go long now with the ball, and it goes to Eilish Neville. Eilish gives in towards Aoife Manning. Aoife had such a good performance in the semi-final win over St Anne's. Aoife again looks up and gives a good ball in towards Clara Donny. Little tug on the jersey, and she's still going through Clara on her weaker left foot and kicks, and that's a good score. Great score by Clara.
Yeah, great score, and that's what I'm saying. The likes of Ava Manley, getting them on the ball, getting them confident in themselves, when they are on the field, and just they'll come into the game more and more the more they're involved in it, Barry, and it's proven it as we're going along in the minutes.
And that was an ideal ball right to the player's chest, and when she won it to her chest, she looked, gave the pass, put it over the bar. It was quick ball. That is what we need more of in this game.
So it's Clonee 3 points, Chemalier 1-3. That goal still the big factor. Roisin Murphy now strong on the ball. Roisin holds that ball and wins the free. Takes it quickly enough towards Aoife Manley, but it's gathered there, and Clonee work it out. It's now with Marguerite Doyle. Marguerite right down the centre of the field. Roisin tries to gather it back on it. Arlene McCabe, sorry. There's Sarah Doyle. Sarah goes over the top, but there's plenty of Chemalier people there, and it's going to be Sarah Harden-Kenny to gather that. She's got Deirdre Fox back there should you need her. Sarah very comfortable on the ball, goes crossfield towards Aideen Fitzgerald, and Aideen gathers it. She got Clara Donnelly run on, and Clara does likewise, gathers the ball and goes over the top towards Ciara Neville, and this is a good piece of play from Chemalier now. Clara Donnelly gives it back towards Leona Tector, and surely a hand around the shoulder there, and Leona gives a good ball back towards Clara, and Clara works into the centre towards Ciara Neville. Ciara just jumps into the tackle, and she's still going, and she kicks it over the top, but there's it's Aoife Manley does well there to try get the ball, but it's the goalkeeper Laura Keogh who gathers it, and Laura gives it out with Karen Tompkins.
We're tending to panic when we get the ball a bit up there, Barry, and they need to just settle down and believe in their abilities.
Elaine McCabe touched the ball when she was on the ground there, so it's going
to put under a lot of pressure there, Barry, which is what that free came from.
It's now with Eilish Neville. Roisin Murphy back to Kelly Carney. Kelly kicks high right out here for Aoife Manley to run onto. She does well. Aoife just taps it and runs past it, goes back and collects it. Now back with Leona Tector. Leona hand passes it out towards Ciara Neville. Ciara injecting a bit of pace and kicks, but that's blocked down by Niamh O'Rourke. Probably still Niamh, and it's Kate Butler now. Kate goes out now, and tackle there, a bit of a late tackle by Aoife Manley on Kate Butler, and it's going to be a free probably from where the ball lands.
Yeah, I think she kind of just went in hard, Barry. I don't think there was any intent or it was necessarily late, but Ava's been making great runs there, and Shels really aren't taking advantage of it. again, all to this side of the field, the game is. So they need to just, as I said, open it up as much as Clonee are crowding it out. They need to be taking advantage of that and opening it up a little bit. They're playing everything down the centre.
This type of game is absolutely suiting Clonee, because Clonee are just crowding out the back line.
Elaine McCabe's bursting through the centre. Elaine still going to try to guide her out towards the side, but it falls back in, and that's Sive McCarthy there. Sive goes back to Deirdre McMahon or Deirdre Fox in the Shelmalier goal. And it's Eleanor Neville now.
It's just that last ball into the forwards, it seems to be breaking down. We need to spread it out more.
So it's Kelly Carney. Kelly gives it out towards Michelle Harden, and it's now on with Clara Donnelly. Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre gives a good ball in towards Aoife Manley, and Aoife gathers it, she turns aside, and Aoife kicks, and a goal. A great goal for Aoife Manley.
Only after saying Ava's been making those runs there the whole time, and thank God Deirdre McMahon spotted her there and just played an absolutely perfect ball into it.
Peach of a ball, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
And again, it was simply play the ball quickly and don't give them a chance to get their backs across the goal. Brilliant. More of that and more scores.
So Shauna Murphy with it now, and this is going to give the Shelmalier confidence. They're gone 6 points up. Surely a tug back there for Roisin Murphy, but the referee says play on. It's Kelly Carney, and Kelly kicks, and it goes into the hands of Laura Keogh. And I suppose if the Shels could do anything now is tap over a few points
they
now.
need to they're asserting themselves, they're winning the kickouts, they're putting Clonee under pressure. Their defence are really struggling, kind of, as much as it's crowded, to contain the Shels.
Leona Tector,
and they need to just take advantage of it and push on and get a few more scores on the board.
Leona tried to gather that, but the ball was just slipping away from her, and it's now with Marguerite Doyle. And Neve O'Rourke gives it out here towards Sarah Doyle, but that's probably going to go over the line ball. That's going to be a line ball to Shauna Murphy.
Like, the Shels defence look very comfortable at the moment. In fairness to the girls, they're managing the breaks, and they're just not allowing Clonee to get through and get scores. So I think Shels have a perfect opportunity here to get a few scores on the board.
So it's Neve O'Rourke now. She gives it out towards Clonee, and the Shels are even starting to defend in their full forward line, to be fair to them. It's Roisin Murphy tries to get that battle, but it's Elaine McMahon who gathers it for Clonee. Clonee now going to have to try to use the wings if there are two bounces, and that's going to be
wonderful work from the Shelmalier folks, because they're now standing up to Clonee and forcing Clonee to make mistakes, whereas before they were diving in a bit. Now
and Ciara Neville is coming more and more into the game there, Barry, from wing back, and she's causing awful problems for Clonee.
And Clara kicked it, maybe just goes off her left foot and just goes out to the left and wide, a little bit unfortunate.
But the constant thing is that they're making these chances. They're not always going to go over the bar. But again, Clara is making these darting runs through the middle, which Clonee are not watching, and they're allowing her to make these quick runs.
Laura Keogh in with a kick out. And that's with Karen Tompkins for Clonee. Karen goes back into the centre through Marguerite Doyle. Marguerite goes over the top. It's now with Lauren Fortune, and back with Elaine McCabe. Elaine brings the ball into the tackle and goes out. Surely made a bit of a charge there. Yeah, she jumped into it, didn't she?
Yeah, she did, yeah. And in fairness, I was only going to say the Shels need to be a little bit smarter. There's a few tackles gone in there and they're a bit static on their feet, whereas Michelle Harden came into that and she just stood her ground, had her feet mobile, and therefore it's a free out, and they need to, that's what they need to be doing, Barry, because they're well able to defend it, and that was really, really good tackle on her part.
I suppose it's surprising how free Aoife Manley can she just seems to find the space very quickly, Mag, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's a lovely footballer, but she's very deceiving for a girl who isn't as tallest player. She has a great field of a ball, but also great speed
and
great brain for a younger
space.
player.
Yeah.
Great brain for a young player.
She's back into the space now, and she gives a good ball to Shauna Murphy, and Shauna looks at the post. And I think that's important that we keep tapping them over now. We're 6 points up, and points.
Yeah, and again, like we've been, talking about different things, but there, Aoife Manley found a space. She just cut through the two Clonee players, and again, probably inexperienced. They haven't copped onto it. Whereas the Shels defence, even though they're getting pulled around, I mean, Shauna Murphy's is comfortable up the field, or somebody just slotting back in, Kelly Carney or Roisin Murphy, and they seem to have gotten a handle of that.
And Laura Keogh kicks the ball out towards Kelly Carney, and Kelly gives it back in towards Clara. Clara brings the ball in tackle and goes over the top to Aoife Manley again. But Laura Keogh done really well to come out off her line quickly there, because had another couple of seconds and Aoife Manley would have had that. And it's with Lorna Fortune now. And Lorna kicks it up here to the forwards. And this is, I suppose, where Clonee will look to counter-attack. They've got plenty of space to them because it's all out-attack football from Chamalier and Sarah Doyle. And now it's back with Elaine McCabe. And Elaine's got space in front of her. Elaine stoops. Okay, but that's well blocked there by...
Great tackle by Sarah Harden. And in fairness, she didn't know what to do there. She had to leave Katrina Murray, which I know she's doing a marking job on, which is hard when you're doing that. But she knew the right time to leave her and get across to make a goal-saving tackle there.
Absolutely. A save or block of the highest quality.
And I said, Clara Donnelly now. Clara again just holds up the ball, herself and Roisin. And she gives it back out here towards Eilish Neville, and Eilish again. Got space in front of her. She
Ava
wants
Manley's
to go.
running into the space again. It's unbelievable, Barry. I wish the players could see kind of what we're seeing here on the field in front of us.
Eilish going into the centre now, and it's back to Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre gives it back to Eilish, and Eilish kicks it. And that's another
again.
score.
Yeah.
So that's Chemalier's 2-5, Clonee 3 points. And
they're starting to put their teamwork together, Barry, and stretching ahead, and they need to do that. They can't relax in this game at all. We know the players that Clonee have and what they're capable of. I mean, Katrina Murray's capable of 2 or 3 goals there. Caroline Murphy's capable of goals. So they really need to keep pushing ahead here and not take their foot off the pedal at all.
But what has been impressive is the fact that they have won so many of Clonee's kickouts. And directly putting them, as there we go now again. We need to punish all these chances when we get them.
Leona kicks, and that's going to stop. That's a goal. It goes right over the corner. And
and I think
goal.
I wouldn't be 100% sure, but I'd say that may have been intended, Barry. I wouldn't count against it. I just think the way she looked up and saw the keeper off her line, she just had a pop, and either way it was over the bar in the back of the net.
It was a goal similar to one you saw in Croke Park.
So that's Leona's second goal, and that widens the gap now to 11 points. And it's Chamalier who are commanding control here in front of it. It's Clara Donnelly now, and Clara just gives the ball down. That's going to be a free in.
Yeah, and there's a bit of frustration creeping in here, Barry, on behalf of the Clonee girls. You can see their forwards getting pulled, not intentionally, but getting pulled further and further down the field, and that's terrible for them because they're not able
Clara
to get
kicks
the ball
it.
out.
That's gathered there by Laura Keogh and the Clonee goal, but it only comes back straight back out to Shauna Murphy. Shauna gives it on to Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre gives a good kick, and that's gone over the bar.
Another
I suppose
great
Deirdre
score,
normally a very threatening forward. She's got on lots of ball with her first score today.
Yeah, no, that's a great score. It was worth waiting for.
all 5 of our 6 forwards have scored.
Yeah.
Which is very, very impressive considering the type of defence that Clonee are setting up.
So it's Laura Keogh then with the kick out. And the Shels are putting Clonee under pressure straight away. That's a good ball over the top, but we have an extra player back here. But in fairness to Clonee, Danielle Hayden, it goes on. Aidan Fitzgerald doing really well there. She's on the ground. Probably touched it on the ground. Tall would be free to Shels.
I think she touched it on the ground. I know the player slipped, but I don't think that matters in terms of the free book. I could be wrong.
I think it's a correct decision. There wasn't any push. She just sort of, it was an accident, that's all. So to hold on to possession.
Kelly Carney then. Kelly gives a good ball on to Clara. Low ball for Clara to gather. Clara has time to look up and kick it, but that's going to be only going into Niamh O'Rourke's hands. Niamh gives it out towards Lorna Fortune. Lorna kicks long, and that's going to be gathered there by Michelle Harden. Michelle gives it on towards Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre playing a long way out from her normal full forward berth to give Leona and Aoife Manley plenty of space in there as Aoife Manley runs into space again. And that's a good ball over to her.
Wonderful run by Eva Manley.
And Eva gathers it and gives it back towards Deirdre McMahon, and Deirdre tries to go the whole way across the field towards Ciara Neville, but that's going to be intercepted. That's intercepted there by Anne Byrne. And Anne tries to turn inside. Referee is playing advantage now. Anne kicks a high ball, and the referee is just going to bring it back.
Yeah. And in fairness, Deirdre McMahon there, Ciara Neville, as I said, who's come more and more into the game, made a great run for her there. She made a good ball across the field. Unfortunately, it was intercepted. But I was a bit, again, kind of taken aback. None of the other Shels girls really made themselves available for that ball, Barry, and they need to just, as I said, keep pushing forward. It's not the time to be taking your foot off the pedal.
Yeah, as we're approaching half time now, I suppose the Shels are only be looking to just add another score if they can to try getting back into this game, but the ball just slips there, and the Chamaliers, Kelly Carney collects it.
I think it's
And
been
that's it.
absolutely sensational work from the back line. They have
the
looked
defence,
so absolutely comfortable in their role, Barry. They haven't been phased, or they know what they have to do. It's just when we got to the forward, sometimes it looked a little bit disjointed.
Yeah, the defence look very organised, and they seem to be communicating with each other, knowing what to do, one stepping in for the other. There's never anybody left exposed, and you can see that, you know, they're very, very comfortable. The forward line is a little bit more disjointed, and in saying that, they're playing very well. We're picking in on we're being probably overly critical, but yeah, overall a great half for the Shels, and if they can come out and do the same in the next quarter, you know, Clonee will really be under pressure. You can already see them a little bit the heads down. I know they'll come out renewed again after half time.
So the referee in Plunkett throws in the ball, and straight away it's Roisin Murphy. Roisin gives it out towards Clara Donnelly. Clara's got space in front of her, and Clara kicks, but that just goes out to the left and wide.
Yeah, the left leg is not working for Clara today, Barry, but look, she's going to keep at it there, and there's definitely a few more scores in her in this second half, you'd be hoping.
So it's going to be Laura Keogh then to take the kick out. Laura Keogh for Clonee goes right out to the right hand wing, and it's Ailish Neville who collects it. She's got options inside of her, and she gives it out towards Clara Donnelly. Maybe a little push in the back. Yeah, it's going to be pushing the back, and that's free for Clara.
Yeah. And I think Shels have kind of probably started a little bit more aggressive, Barry, which is great to see given the comprehensive lead that they have here in the second half.
Yeah, I said that before, you know, if we can start on the front foot and get something from it in the first few minutes.
And now he just kicks it on, and the ball just drops a bit short. And maybe very could be calling VAR there, but the referee says go ahead. And
even from here, Barry, that looked like it may have hopped over the line, but
a sub introduced there for the Clonee team, Orla Byrne, and it's now back with Karen Tompkins. Not sure who's made way for Orla, but Clonee trying to rearrange the deck, I suppose, a little bit. And it's now Anne Byrne. Anne kicks it over the top, and there's plenty of Chamalier player there, and it's Shauna Murphy with it. Shauna gives a good ball out to, and it's now with Deirdre Fox. Deirdre's faced with a wall of Clonee defence, and she decides to kick it, but probably a more sensible ball would have been to put it across the field.
Across the field, yeah. She got a little push in the back there, Barry, but look, the referee's not going to be giving frees willy-nilly now at this stage, given the lead, I'd say.
Yeah, well, it's you know, again, we just have to keep watching the run of Ava, and the way she's dragging the player away from the forward line, and that we just need to watch this.
So it's Elaine McMahon then, or McCabe, sorry, calling her McMahon all day, and it's Clara Donnelly now. Clara gives it back towards Kelly Carney. Kelly injects a little bit of pace, and she's still going. Carly Murphy trying to get the block in, but Kelly does well to hold on to possession. Side McCarthy now bursting up the field with Leona Tector. Leona looks inside and gives it towards Roisin Murphy, or towards Clara Donnelly. Clara gives a great ball in towards,
and a great run there from Aideen Fitzgerald.
And Aideen is
just weren't on the same wavelength there for that second, but as I say, not everything is going to work out, but the idea was right.
And Aileen is Aileen after switching, or is she just a long way up from cornerback?
I think she's.
I don't think a cornerback plays cornerback anymore in this modern game.
I need to move to the modern game, like. And it's
thank God we're not in the modern game now.
You're more of a holding role, Mike. You always play.
Yeah, the player.
And it's Marguerite Doyle then, Roisin or Katrina Murray, and Katrina does well. Put it over the bar.
Clonee
will be looking to
Katrina what we want from a free.
Yeah, and she'll be looking to keep. If they can get over a few points, and then maybe sneak in for a goal. They can get right back into this, but. I suppose the tide is against them at the minute.
Yeah, and the more kind of Shels are winning the kickouts and all that kind of stuff is disheartening for a team, Barry. So as I said, need to keep the pressure on there.
It's very important because our girls are winning the majority of their and our own kickouts, which is vital.
So Eleanor gives a good ball in towards Kelly Carney. Kelly was moving at pace there. She gives it over the top towards Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre gives it towards Clara. Clara just tries to put that ball in front of her, and she does. And Clara still has it. And Shorty tug there on the arm and pulled down.
I think that's twice now. Number 6 has pulled her down. I think
she
needs to be very careful now. I'd say if she does it again now, there'll be a card.
Yeah, Ian Plunkett has just taken note of her name there. Lorna Fortune. Probably is a little bit far out for Kelly.
Yeah, I'd say she might look to play this, Barry.
I would stand right in on the square because the keeper tends to bat it down.
So she goes for it, and that's going to
square ball.
A bit harsh of a square ball because definitely ran into it, I thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even where the player met Leona there was on the edge of the square, I would have thought, rather than in the square itself.
It was a harsh decision.
The ball ended up in the back of the net, if that's worth noting, but
harsh decision.
Hopefully we won't be talking about that later. It's Marguerite Doyle then with it. And Clonee, they do have some nice footballers, just haven't probably got a little bit of the rub of the green so far, but that's very well blocked to Shauna Murphy. She was unfortunate to not keep that in. And I suppose, Mag, when these sides met earlier in the year, it was Clonee who came out on top.
It was, yeah. I know we had a few players missing, they'll say, but at the end of the day, we are not a team, we're a panel. So every player is a part of the panel, and there's a great togetherness and a great leadership. And I have to praise the older players, even though they're young, for their leadership and how they've dealt with the younger players in the game.
That's well gathered there by Cy McCarthy. Cy gives it on towards Roisin Murphy, and Roisin gives it out with Clara Donnelly. Clara just got the gloves tucked into her shorts, and Roisin Murphy goes down the blind side, if you want to call it that, and it's now with Ciara Neville. Ciara gives it on towards her sister Eilish, and it's now back with Eilish after going through the hands of Clara Donnelly. Eilish looks up, kicks, and that just goes out to the right. And I suppose, Catherine, this weekend marks a fairly, I suppose, notable weekend for the Chevalier Club, competing in both the senior and men and ladies county finals. It's a great achievement for
the club, Barry, and I think well deserved. They've worked hard over the years to get to that standard and to be competing yet again in a senior men's final and ladies final on a same weekend or intermittent weekends is brilliant.
That's a great catch by Aoife Manley, and goes through Leona's hands towards Eleanor Neville, and Aoife Manley tries to turn and kicks, and that's a dangerous ball. And the referee, the goalkeeper does well to block it down. Laura Keoghan just comes a pack, and if the Chevaliers had been reacted a little bit quicker, was there for him. It's Roisin Murphy now.
Again, Chevalier look very much in control, Barry. It's mistakes now that our Clonee are breaking from, not actual play themselves.
So Kelly Carney gives it over top towards Cy. Cy probably not one you want to see in front of the goal. As I say that, she kicks and right over the black spot, just to prove me wrong.
That's a great score.
Again, we've just related that it isn't just the forwards that can score. The full back line have a very important part to play, as Meath proved in the All-Ireland final in Croke Park this year.
And again, straight away, Barry, just Shels get back into position. There was nearly a fear there a minute ago that they were overcrowding their attacking space themselves because they're getting pulled back. The Clonee girls naturally are going back to try and get the ball up the field.
So Elaine McCabe makes way there now for Clonee, and I said Clara Donnelly. Clara's got space in front of her, she's still going. She's got Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre McMahon kicks over her head. That might fall in. No, it's just going to go over the top and out wide. It was just gone a little bit far for Leona to run onto.
If she'd have released it maybe about 2 seconds earlier, I'd say Deirdre was probably through, Barry, but just that little bit delay, And it's important that Shels keep taking these opportunities.
That's it, kick out straight down the centre. It's now with Bradeen Doyle. Bradeen gives it in, and now Clonee do have space in front of them to.
Kelly Carney, if you watch her now, is making a great run, being in behind, and there she is winning
There she
possession.
is with the ball.
Her reading of the play was simply superb.
Sarah Harden Kenny comes away with it then, and it's that's a little bit messy there, but pushing the back from Clara, and it's going to be a free to Clonee, who decides to take it quickly. I think that's Cathy Cavan, or sorry, it's Emma Tompkins, and the referee is playing advantage. So Katrina Murray now, and the referee is saying no advantage to Croon, so it's going to come back
Emma
in.
Tompkins has looked well, bright there, Barry, for Clonee. You know, anytime she's got on the ball, she's made a little bit of ground. Again, I suppose all relative to what's happened in the game so far, but Katrina Murray another opportunity to score here now.
Yeah, Katrina looks, kicks, and that just goes out to the right and wide, and Katrina Whoopi, you can see her nodding her head there. She's not happy with that one.
I think it's again. I agree with what Catherine is saying, but the problem with them is she hasn't got the players of our quality around her, and where she's making these great moves and looking for players, they're not at the same level of experience and thinking football as she is.
So it's Deirdre Fox, who hasn't been really challenged yet, the goalkeeper for Shelmalier. Deirdre gives a good ball out towards Eleanor Neville. Eleanor gives it in towards the centre, towards Sive, and Sive gives it on towards Ailish. Ailish now in for Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre, this is good football from Shelmalier as a key possession. Eilish Neville decides to go over the top in for Aoife Manley, but it's going to be Laura Keogh there in the Clonee goal who comes away with that. Laura gives it out towards the sub introduced at half time, Orla Byrne. Orla gives it on towards Karen Tompkins,
and again,
pushing
there,
the
you
back
see the importance of Ailish Neville, you know, pressing that whole time there, making it so hard for Clonee to get out with the ball. Is working really well for the Shels today.
Lorna Fortune with it now, and Caroline Murphy back with.
I think the score is reflection of the game, and perhaps a little bit more for Shelmalier and the amount of chances we've had.
It's Sarah Doyle now, and the referee is playing advantage. Sarah kicks it, but it goes over the bar, so there'll be no call back, and that moves Clonee on to 5 points. It's Shelmalier 3-7, and we're got about 10 minutes into the second half.
I think we just need to get a little bit sharper now. They're picking up a point or two now, and they all count.
Well, Deirdre Fox decides to go short and keep possession, but it doesn't work out that way as Sarah Doyle goes well and goes into Katrina Murray. Katrina turns inside, and she's got a good bit of pace as well as Katrina comes back now with Emma Tompkins. And Emma did look dangerous. Emma's still going, but the Shels are there in numbers in fairness to the defence, and Emma kicks, and it's gone wide. Oh no, the referee I think he was calling back for a free.
There, I think, yeah.
This will be 2 quick scores in succession now for Clonee. Should have popped this one over the bars. Not sure who committed the foul there, but the referee is noting it.
I think it was Sive McCarthy.
I think it might have been Sive as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think she was thinking about her next move and didn't have the ball in possession and lost it then, and this has accrued from it. We need to be a little bit careful when we get this lose our sharpness, that we don't allow them to get too many scores.
I won't see the ball, but I'm sure it's going to be Katrina. There it is there. Sun is blaring down here in Belfield in the middle of November. Katrina Murray kicks it, and that's over the bar to move them on to 6, and I think that's Katrina's 4th point, is it?
That's her 4th point, Barry, and 2 from frees. As I say, we just need to start imposing ourselves again. But again, we can't impose for 60 minutes. It's hard. They are going to make chances. They're a good team. So it's now how we put ourselves back into the game is more important than what they're doing.
And Deirdre just gives away possession, maybe a little bit too lightly as well. It's back with Sarah Doyle. Sarah just out to the corner, and it's Danielle Hayden. And Hell gives it over the top of that. It's intercepted there by Roisin Murphy. Roisin really strong on the ball there, Roisin, and wins the free. Could have got a bit of a smack in the mouth there by the looks of her. Definitely holding her mouth. There was kind of arms flying everywhere, and Roisin's had a good day today as well, Mike.
She's had a tremendous year, and I would like to praise her herself and Kelly Carney, especially the captain. I think Kelly has been a wonderful captain this year in her dealings with the younger players, and listening to her, because I've spent so many evenings at training and listening to her speaking to the players and talking to the younger players and giving them that guidance, because Kelly's not an old player herself, but she's an experienced player now, and she is one of the more experienced on the team. So her guidance has been wonderful, as has Roisin's and Clara and Shauna. These players who have, and I'm not just picking out them, I'm talking about all of the players. Deirdre, Michelle, they're all out there. Leona, they have been wonderful to the younger players this year in how they have gone about giving them confidence in their abilities to play at this level. So, a compliment to them all.
Roisin Murphy then. And Kieran Neville nearly got caught there by the sun. It's Aileen Fitzgerald. Aileen does well and gives it back to Kira. But there's Clonee are there. Numbers, in fairness to them, Clonee are starting to maybe fight back here a little bit. But it's gathered there as well. A bit of high ball, but it falls to the Shels, and it's Cy McCarthy. Cy gives it on towards Shauna Murphy. Shauna gives it out towards Ailish Neville. Ailish gives it a good ball towards Clara Donnelly. Played the ball right in front of her, and Clara goes one way and then the other, and probably
over on the far side.
It's Ailish Neville now, and Ailish gives it out towards Ava, and Ava kicks. Just side netting them wide. Couldn't be much in that.
She did right. She kicked it along the ground, which was the right thing to do, and she just barely kind of drifted.
I'm just wondering now, would it be time to be thinking about maybe a substitution just to freshen things up, Barry?
Yeah. And to give some of the girls experience on county final day as well. Like it's Danielle Hayden. Sub introduced there. 25 Melissa Dorn for Clonee as well. Marguerite Doyle. Marguerite gives it back towards Niamh O'Rourke, and that's back now with Melissa Dorn. And Clonee now trying to go forward through Anne Byrne. Anne gives in towards Caroline Murphy, and Caroline turns left and kicks, but that's got out to the right and wide, and that's one thing I suppose Clonee can't afford to be doing now. Every chance they need to be putting it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they need to be putting it, and you'd expect Caroline with the left foot there to put that over, and I suppose she's probably nearly over trying to and just struck it wide. It's uncharacteristic of her.
That's a great ball, a great kick and a great pass, and a great run from Ailish Neville.
Yeah, Michelle Harden done well to gather it, and it's back with Roisin Murphy now, who just lays it off to Kelly, and Kelly gives it back to Roisin and sets Roisin on her way. She's about 45 yards out. She turns inside. Roisin's got Clara, and a great ball again from Clara, and Clara tries to turn inside, and surely kicking. Probably with a goal might have been an easier score, but Clara keep the scoreboard ticking over is the main thing.
I actually think she was going for a goal, to be honest.
But mainly to keep the scoreboard ticking over is important now, as Drummondeer move into a 11-point lead. That's Melissa Dorn now gathers it for Clonee.
And Eleanor Neville did great work there. She's unlucky there, Barry. She did great work to try and win that ball back.
What has been particularly pleasing as well is the fact that they're getting the hand in all the time. If you watch them, they're getting in close.
There's
They've been working.
They've
been doing that at training. That's something that Pat has been trying to, and Kenny have been trying to instill into them this year. Was when you're in close, put the hand in, and you see the amount of times they've done it here and broken tackles down from.
So Sarah Harden Kenny goes the whole way back to Deirdre Fox in the goal, and Deirdre gives it back to Sarah Harden Kenny. She's got Eilish Neville out here should she need her. Sarah still goes. She's thrown a few players now. She's after breaking the line fairly quickly, and it's back with Shauna Murphy. Shauna's got Eva Manley in front of her and gives a good ball over the top towards Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre gives it in towards Clara Donny, and Clara still going through, and Clara kicks with her left foot, and that goes over the bar, and a good score. Yeah. Two very quick scores there from Clara.
Yeah, and again made from Sarah Harden Kenny, and I suppose we've kind of forgotten a little bit today. Like, Sarah is such a fantastic player and normally threatens a little bit more out the field, but she's been given a marking job to do today, which she's done outstandingly, and as well as that has managed to actually, I think that was the second or third score we've commented on that she created. She made a goal in the first half with a brilliant interception at the back, and again there just a little bit of composure, working the ball out, seeing what was ahead of her, and allowing her to play like we know she can play,
Yeah, it's been a very work rate and a very, very good performance from the girls. You can see that there's a game plan from watching the training sessions. Kenny has a way that he'd like them to play, and I have to say they're really playing into that. You can see they're running off the ball, the quick hand pass, they hand in for the close tackle. All these things that we were lacking in the last year or two, that they're doing now. And as I said, these younger players really are making such an addition to the team. It's a very, very good, hard working display from the girls.
Yeah, I suppose maybe a lacklustre enough third quarter in saying that, we went in 12 points up at half time. I think the margin is still 12 points. Didn't push on but didn't concede anything either, and we've probably had most of the possession.
Yeah, and I think Clonee came out kind of they tried to impose themselves a little bit more in that third quarter, Barry, and it just hasn't worked for them, and I think they've probably just come up against better opposition today, which is disappointing for them, but they have, we're talking here and saying about all the great play, because that's obviously what we're looking at, but to be fair to Clonee, they've great players there individually, and they're probably just lacking a little bit of a team mentality in terms of how they play, and that's probably just inexperience, from playing together. They're a new enough outfit. I think a lot of young players coming through, mixing it again with the senior players that are there. That number 25, Melissa Dorn, has come on. She's actually made an impact on the game and coming on, so the quality is there. It's just that last little finesse probably of getting that
and as well
together.
As well as that, against Adamstown, Clonee had 13 wides in the first half. 13 wides. They had one against us. So it's a testament to the work rate of our girls that we could turn over a rate like that so well.
Yeah, we're definitely defending in numbers, and I see Anya Lacey is introduced there, is going to take up the full forward berth. I'm not sure who's made way. Is it Leona, is it?
Leona, yeah.
Yeah, Leona's made way.
Well, she can just go over to the sideline. A very happy lady after scoring 2 very good goals.
Yeah. So it's going to be a free there now down to Clonee, just deemed to Anya Lacey, I think it was, just deemed to touch it on the ground. That's a good ball there. There's 2 Clonee players there, and it's Bridie Doyle. And Roisin Murphy does well to gather it again, and there's a bit of a tug of war going on, and Roisin deemed to come out on the top side of it. Roisin gives it on towards Deirdre McMahon. Deirdre gives a good ball in for Anya Lacey to run onto. Might be gone a bit far, but no, Anya's gets the legs and gives a great hand pass over towards Clara Donnelly. Clara turns inside, kicks, and that just goes out to the left and wide. And
that's our 5th wide of the second half.
Our
3
5th
in the first.
Yeah.
But again, I think we forget about the contribution of Deirdre McMahon. She's player.
She's on lots of balls
She's just
there,
a wonderful footballer, and we're so blessed to have her.
Just in there to kick it there as the Clonee player hands were down below his knees, so that's going to be a free to Clonee as it comes off the right boot, and it's Caroline Murphy who gathers it. Caroline has to put the hand up to see who's in front of her with the sun beaming down on her face. She gives it back towards Niamh O'Rourke. Niamh now gives it towards Caroline Murphy. Caroline hand passed it over the head, and Roisin Murphy does well, and it's nearly like deja vu between Roisin gathers again and Roisin again.
In fairness, Barry, Roisin Murphy has put in some shift today again. She's always a workhorse there in the middle of the field, and today is no different. Mag spoke about her leading at training and leading the younger players, but she's a leader on the field as well, which is important.
Deirdre Mack kicks a good ball across, and it's Neville Kira kicks, but that's a good block down, and Kira's still battling away. There's the Laura Keoghan, the Clonee goal. Comes away with it, and it's now with Marguerite Doyle, and that was a good chance really to put the final nail in it for Chamaliers, but Clonee keep battling away here, and you got to give them great credit for that. It's Anne Byrne now, and it's back out with Danielle Hayden. Danielle gives it in towards Caroline Murphy, who's come out now a good bit from full forward. And I suppose even if Clonee get the ball up, Catherine, we've got plenty of players back now as well.
Yeah, I think Shels have the handle of what they have there, in terms of Clonee's attack.
So it's Clara Donnelly. Clara gives it down towards Deirdre McMahon, and Deirdre hand passes out towards Anya Lacey. Anya stoops, kicks, and it just goes out to the right and wide, and looked like it was gone over, but wasn't to be.
Wasn't to be, but she was in the right position, and she was right to have a goal.
Yeah. And here's another substitution now for Shels.
Yeah, so Eleanor
Neville is going off,
and Ciara Donoghue has just come on there.
A very like for like substitution.
And in fairness, I think in the county final last year, no one would have been surprised if Ciara Donoghue had got player of the match. So it's not exactly like they're bringing on, any less quality and giving everybody a chance to impose themselves on the game.
Yeah, of course, Ciara was captain of that fantastic junior camogie team, and Anya Lacey gathers it. Anya still going inside, and she's got space in front of her. She tries to put the toe to it, but the referee was playing advantage.
Yeah, referee, I must say today has had a very good game. He's allowed what needs to go, and he has blown up and has played the rule of advantage very well today.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose, to be fair, the players as well, Meg, there hasn't been a dirty hit or any kind of antagonism or back chat to the referee. Everything has been done to a very high standard, which is what we want to see at these games. Maybe if it was a bit closer, it might be a different story. But
I think that there have been animosity, I suppose, down through the years between these clubs. But I think there always has been that amount of respect as well.
Well, a healthy rivalry,
yes.
I suppose, is probably.
We've Roisin Tobin coming in now, I think, is it, for Deirdre McMahon?
Yep.
So the Shels definitely emptying the bench here and giving girls plenty of opportunity to name their place for the Leinster Championship. Could nearly say we'll make it now. We're 12 points up. We're
in the fourth quarter.
And it's Cy McCarthy. Cy goes out towards. I see Fiona Kintz has also been introduced. I didn't see Fiona coming on, but she's there now anyhow. And another wide for the Shels. Shels probably won't be happy with the wide count today, Mike.
No, and it's not as though they're enforced.
Yeah.
A lot of them are unenforced, so it's just poor shooting.
Harry Murphy comes along and well tackled there by the Shels, and that's gathered there by it is Roisin Tobin, isn't it? 19. Yeah, Roisin Tobin. And referee is now playing advantage to Clonee. It's Marguerite Doyle. Still going with it. The leaves a good few Chamalier people in her tracks. And it's Sophie McCabe. That's going to be a free in now for Clonee. Clonee decide to try use the wings and try get in on the Chamalier goal in that manner. It's Sarah Doyle.
Oh, what a tremendous!
But that's a great block there by still Sarah Doyle, Aidan Fitzgerald on the block there.
Yep.
And it's back now with Sophie McCabe. Sophie's got the only option she has is Anne Byrne, and Anne gives it off. And that's a good kick straight across the face. The goal falls into the recently introduced subs, and the Chamalier scramble to do it. Deirdre Fox gives it back to Kelly Carney. Kelly just using her head there to give Deirdre an option behind her. Kelly gives it out.
Excellent save by Deirdre, considering that she hasn't been under any great goal threat for the game. It was tremendous work.
And
Sarah
again,
Harden
we see
Kenny
the
gives
ball coming out.
It's Ciara Donoghue. Ciara tugged there, surely deserved the free. Roisin Murphy then.
You can see on the right hand side the runs of our players, which is tremendous.
Yeah, we've Shauna Murphy and Eleanor or Ciara Neville making great runs up the field there.
Clara Donnelly gives a good ball in towards Anya Lacey. Anya kind of playing more of a holding role in that full forward berth, and she does well there to win a free.
Yeah, and interestingly, Barry there, just Clonee had an attack a few minutes ago, a free in, and two of their forwards stayed back at the midfield position. You know, when you're that far behind, you really need everybody pushing up the field, and I suppose that's just a sign of where they're at in the game, a little bit disheartened probably, and just finding it hard to get through.
So it's Eilish Neville now going to take this. She's fairly tight angle. She's after hitting upright twice. This could be the third maybe, or she decides to. No, it just goes left. Eilish probably a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, wide on the same side. That was always known as kind of a cardinal sin when we were playing Barry.
Back out, and it's now with Sophie McCabe. Sophie looks in front of her, and Clonee definitely some good players, and it's Anne Byrne. Anne gives it over the top towards Katrina Murray. Katrina turns, looks, hasn't got much options in front of her. I think it was Anne Byrne who kicked it, and it was blocked down as Sarah Doyle who tried to just bat it over Deirdre Fox's head, but Deirdre had a bit of a height advantage, and it's Kelly Carney who comes away with it. Kelly right down along the far wing. She gives it on towards Ciara, towards Side McCarthy. And the girls playing good football now. It's Clara Donnelly. Clara goes right footed towards Eilish Neville, and Eilish just loses her footing there as the underground conditions got the better of her. It's still Eilish though. She does well to keep possession. And Eilish is really strong on the ball. It's now with Fiona Kinsella. Fiona kicks it, but that's going to be, there's two Clonee players there, and Clonee easily come away with that as Anya Lacey tries to get a block in, and probably done enough just to put off the player. Anya Lacey gives it back to Clara Donny, and Clara surely fouled there, but the referee says get up, and it's Anya Lacey. Anya kicks, and after kicking the last one to the left, this one goes out to the right. And
again, unlucky there, Barry. You know, she was right to take the chance, and Anya's made a huge difference since she came in. In fairness, I suppose, in the ladies' game, Anya's so tall, her height is imposing on any defender, and whether she can football or can't football, that's hard to handle. You know, her physical presence alone there has made a difference to the Shels girls, and certainly an option moving forward.
And Shauna Murphy is the most graceful defender I've ever watched. A bit like her auntie Assumpta when she was in her heyday.
It's Orla Byrne then coming forward with it, but the Shels do have numbers back. It's Ciara Donoghue who tries to give it back and maybe just didn't get enough onto it as Orla Byrne gathers again.
Kelly Carney there.
And it's back with Sophie McCabe now. Sophie tries to turn inside and just deemed there to be a tug, and to be fair, the referee is probably going to give everything he can to Clonee at this stage.
I'd say so, Barry, you know, and Shels are not going to get easy frees at this stage in the match, but just a bit of communication there. I think the girls did very well to win the ball, and Ciara just heard the call from Kelly and just didn't put enough on the pass out to her.
So this will be actually the first score, I think, from the fourth quarter.
I think she'll probably just maybe try to drop it in.
Katrina Murray kicks. It just comes off the crossbar this time.
Yeah, I'm thinking she'd try something like that. She's a very good kicker of a ball.
Or be a hot ball there, just a bit of a scrum. So the referee has got to throw it in.
And you'd be expecting Anya Lacey to go in for this one.
Two more subs. I think it's Ciara Banville and Mailing Tynan, is it?
Mailing Tynan, yes.
And Ciara Banville, is it?
Ciara Banville, yes.
Yeah.
Two are also very good players. Young Mailing, another young player coming through the ranks, a very good defender. Yeah,
I've seen her a couple of times in Hollymount this year, and she's really
again, she's very quick.
Yeah, and I think it's Eilish and Aideen Fitzgerald that's making way.
I don't think we're going to get any 50-50s here.
No, I think no. Yeah, that's going to be a free in now. It's Katrina Murray to take it.
I think she'll try to dip it again because she's
taking this one off the ground after.
She might be just going to try and place it into the
into the corner.
Trina takes a long run, kicks, probably had that low trajectory, but it did go over.
Yeah.
So
and again, Deirdre Fox is tall. You know, she's a hard goalkeeper to try and get. Yeah, and good and experienced, knows her job. So it's not the easiest thing to try and get the ball past her.
To Katrina Murray from their game.
What's Kelly Carney? Kelly just doing well to hold up the ball. She goes in towards Sarah Harden-Kenny. Sarah gives it out.
Caroline Murphy has worked very hard for Clonee.
She has, and she's out a good bit now as well, Mag, from that's with Ciara Donoghue. Ciara looks up, tries to give it in towards her Clara Donnelly, but Clonee had numbers back there. And it's Anne Byrne now. Anne Byrne gives it over the top, and Mailing does really well there out in front. And it's gathered by Roisin Murphy. Roisin gives a low ball on towards Ciara Neville. Ciara hand passes it over the top towards Roisin Tobin. That's back now with Ciara Neville. But Clonee do have four people back there, so it's going to be hard to get any ball in there. There's a lot of ball in the middle third now, I suppose, in this quarter. There's going to be a point to Clonee. Feels like we're kind of waiting out the time here, Mag.
Yes, it is, and Clonee, the Shels are doing the right thing. You know, they know what they have to do now. They have to close the game out, and bringing Katrina Murray up to almost midfield is the real sign of how far behind the Clonee are now, and how well our girls are playing. That she has to come this far to try and win a ball. Their most potent forward.
So it's Ciara Neville now out along the right flank. Ciara still going. She hand passes over the top for Roisin Tobin to run onto. Roisin just stoops but just spill the ball. Again, there's Melissa Dornas back there for Clonee, and there was a tug there. You could see the tug.
Free, yeah, you could see that, Barry. And again, just it's great to see. Not saying the freeze, but the girls pushing and pushing. You know, the whole time there. They're not. letting Clonee out easily, and they're not letting him get easy ball. They're putting pressure on him the whole time. I think Roisin Tobin is after getting injured there.
She does seem to be injured, yeah. We're probably after using all our subs, Mike, are we?
Yeah, well.
Oh, and it's the ball comes, kind of ricochets off a few players, and it's going forward now. The referee is playing advantage, and he gives it out towards Shauna Murphy. Not sure what happened, Roisin Tobin there, but
yeah, I didn't know.
Have just stumped. I think she just maybe stood her toe into the ground, and maybe just hurt her hamstring.
She
seems to know straight away anyway that she had to go off, Barry, so it must be either an ongoing injury issue that she has, or certainly something.
Shels are bringing on Maeve Quill by the looks of it. Again, a hugely experienced player to bring onto your squad and to your team.
It's Caroline Murphy now for Clonee, as I think we've gone over the 30-minute a lot of times, so it's in the referee's hands now. As long this is going to go on for, it's Caroline Murphy. And Caroline just wins the free there.
Fighting away there, Barry. She's put in a great shift for Clonee today, I must say. And again, a great example to the younger players that are playing with them, that you don't give up. And that was always the way Caroline played.
Yeah,
and no different today. Yeah, outstanding footballer. So naturally talented, but also really hard worker on the field, Barry.
I think our backline today have been absolutely superb, and I don't think they've been under any really, really serious threat throughout the game. There has been times when Clonee have come forward well, but our backline have always looked in control.
So it's Sarah Doyle with it now for Clonee. Sarah tries to come in from the left wing. She gives it back out towards Melissa Dorn. Melissa's been on a lot of balls since she's been introduced too. But that's well gathered there by Shauna Murphy, who always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Shauna hand passed it out towards Ciara Donoghue. And that's it. The referee blows the final whistle, and the Chevaliers are the 2021 Bodybro Wexford Ladies Football Champions. And I suppose from the very first goal, that I think it was Leona scored the first goal. Once we got the second goal, then we probably had one hand on the cup from then on. And
I think, Barry, even from the first water break, it was maybe a little bit inevitable what was going to happen. Shels just looked, as I said, to be the better team. That's not taken from Clonee at all, and the effort they've put in to get to a county final, it's not easy, and to be here today, but they just came up against, I think, a better team effort overall. We've said about the defence, but actually, to be fair to the attack as well, Shels just they had it today, and those days come, and you have to enjoy them when they come, because they run out pretty quickly.
Yeah, they definitely run out, but I suppose people would have been probably maybe talking about the Chevaliers' demise 2 or 3 years ago, and yet we still keep going on and winning the county finals. And even credit to Clonee, lots of people would have wrote those off as well, but it's people would have been saying the likes of Deanne's and Adamstown were going to make the breakthrough. They haven't really made it yet, and the Shels are they've been confident enough in most matches this year, Mag. I know Clonee beat them earlier on, but
well, what I'd say on that, Kenny, is I would compliment them, but I would compliment us more, because every time they a club and bring new players to the field, bring new ideas to the pitches, Shelmalier always seem to have that little edge where the desire amongst the players not to lose is there. That is something that Shelmalier have always had, and all year the same thing. At training, listening to the girls has been a privilege, because they are their desire to win games and their desire to do well at training.
And it's hard to keep that over the years, and I think to be fair, teams have come. The disappointing part for me is that they haven't kept coming. It seems to be that they finish once they're defeated. They don't seem to come back the following year with something else. And over the years, Shels and Clonee would have had county finals winning and losing and winning and losing and winning and losing, but the opposition just doesn't seem to be there at the moment. Any of the forces that have come forward, the Kilmores, the Adamstowns, the St. Anne's, the following year it seems to be kind of dying again, and I don't know why that is. But that doesn't take away from Shels to be able to keep that and impose themselves year in, year out, coming into a game, as favourites again, and holding on to it and winning it is no easy feat, and it has to be acknowledged, and that's true work on the training field.
Absolutely, and when you see the work rate and the trainings that our girls did over the year, it has been so intense. But that wasn't because the management forced it as well. The players put it upon themselves. They want to train at this level. They want to train at the highest level because they want to do well in Leinster. They want to do well as footballers. They want to start playing county football again. They're all talking about all of these, and there's a desire and a willingness. And we keep talking about other clubs. We have to talk about ourselves and our management team. How wonderful they are, year in and year out, coming up with ideas, freshening up ideas for the girls at training, bringing in. And it's the ethos of the club where they work at underage level right to the top and bring 2 or 3 players through every year and give them the opportunities. And look at it today. It was a wonderful game of football which Shelmalier controlled for 50 minutes of the game.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, great performance all around. I think there's plenty of people can hold their heads high. So that's it. Shelmalier's convincing champions. I think it was 12 points in the end where they reclaimed the Noel Quill Cup, and it's going to be Kelly Carney who's going to lift that cup after a short break.
I'd like to compliment both teams. It was a great game of football. Again, mechanic game, there's winners and losers. I commiserate with Clonee. I say congratulations to the Shels once again. Just a few people I want to thank before we move on to the presentation. I'd just like to welcome Mr. Colin Blake here representing Zurich, who is the Wexford main sponsors. I think they deserve a huge round of applause. Colin has been a fantastic help to Wexford ladies football over the last 12 months, and hopefully Colin will continue in the next 12.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Again, I would like to thank Ben Brosnan and Dan from Bodybro for their sponsorship of the Senior Championship. They're the sponsors of our Senior Championship, so I say a big thank you to Ben and Dan from Bodybro. I would also like to thank Belfield here for the use of their facilities again today. And as you all know, it's hard enough to get pitches now, but in fairness to Belfield, we booked in the county finals about a month ago, and they said they would guarantee us that the pitch would be available. So again, thanks very much to the Rapparee Starlights Club for the use of their facilities. Again, I suppose, look at congratulations to Shelmaliers. You've completed 4 in a row. But, I won't say how many times, I don't know, but it's a lot of times anyway. Look at you're the standard bearers in Wexford, and I've said this before. You've been fantastic ambassadors for ladies football in Wexford, and it's up to the other clubs in the county to get where you are. So I say well done to you. I say well done to all your mentors and all the people behind for the amount of work and time that they put into you as well. So again, well done to the Shels, and it gives me great pleasure now to call on Paddy to present the Noel Quill Cup to Kelly Carney, captain. Get to see it.
I'm not going to talk that much. First of all, I want to start by thanking the girls here in front of me for all your hard work and commitment throughout the year. Unfortunately for all of us now, we're just going to have to put in for another couple more weeks, and hopefully we'll do well in Leinster this year and do well for the county. Second of all, I'd like to thank our management team. There's way too much to name out, but I want to just say a special word to Wayne. In fairness, every time we go training and every time we go to matches, there's everything laid out, and we don't want for nothing, no matter if it's a training or a match, no matter what we want. Wayne, in fairness to you, have everything ready and have everything spot on for us. I want to just reiterate what Dennis said and thank our sponsors, Zurich, and thank Bodybro for sponsoring the Senior Championship. It's great to have them both on board, and hopefully they'll stay with us for the next couple of years for ladies football. I just want to say a special word to Clonee. I have no doubt that you'll be back here next year. So just 3 cheers for Clonee. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! I'd like to just say a special mention to all the supporters, family, friends and everyone in front of us. It's great to have everyone here and it's great to have everyone and a bit of atmosphere after match today. So it's been great for us as players and I hope everyone enjoyed the match there today as well. And just finally, I just want to say best luck to our lads in the senior county final tomorrow. We'll all be there to support you.